I'm recording as from. All right. Well, hello everybody. Nice to see your lovely faces. I don't know how many meetings we've had now, but we're coming to. Oh, here's Olga. Hello, Olga. Lovely to see you. Yeah,
Great.
and Olga's puppy. Hello, Olga's puppy.
Hi everyone, sisters.
Okay. Well, I mean, you're just in time for the first point three actually of our agenda. We've selected a minute taker as Ulla, and congratulations to you, Olga, for the Italian Peace Prize.
Yes,
Fantastic! I'm
we have
so
to
proud of
celebrate
her.
and drink something together, maybe wine.
Yes,
Yes, we should
afterwards.
do. We should do. Yes, wonderful. Well done for so much hard work that you do. It's just amazing. I'm so happy that you've got that. I really am. Um, and also you wrote a beautiful response to Tamara's email. I thought it was the best thing. It was absolutely beautiful. I hope you've all been able to see it because I really agree with every single word that you wrote. It was so beautiful. Um, so yes, I think later on we'll have a glass of wine. We'll drink to Olga. Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, let's press on. All right, now this is a group decision. I wish there were a few more of us to help make it, but there aren't, so here we go. Um, having a backup for communications. Now, I've suggested WhatsApp, Signal, or Telegram. WhatsApp is basically Zuckerberg, it's Facebook, so it's not as secure as you might think. Signal is pretty good, and Telegram's pretty good as well. Uh, now then, we need to talk. Does anybody have a preference apart from Ulla, who doesn't have a smartphone and doesn't have any of them? So, yeah, yeah, you're going to have to get a smartphone. You really are. You're going to miss
No, no way.
everything. So I'll just go around briefly. Karen, you're first on my view. Do you have a preference for which way to communicate? Just for very short
No,
sentences.
no, I don't have a preference,
Do you
actually.
have do you have any of those downloaded on your phone?
I have WhatsApp, but there are several ones, organizations, and I don't know how to keep them away, di differentiated. So really, I know so little about this,
Okay.
most as Ulla. I don't know.
Liz, do you have
Oh,
a
yes,
preference?
I WhatsApp, Telegram, Signal, and TikTok. Sorry.
So we can't. Oh, you've got them all. Good for you. Good for you, Claire. Have you got Red Note and Blue Sky as well? Liz, do you have a preference?
I do prefer WhatsApp because I don't have the others downloaded and I've got too many messages and too many platforms already. And I'm sorry
Mm.
about Zuckerberg, but I know we're all being monitored anyway. So, yeah.
Okay. Ulla, if you don't mind, I'll skip you.
Okay,
Claire,
don't skip me because I
right.
think that you can skip me later. I think that WhatsApp, Leah is having WhatsApp.
Okay.
And
I mean,
since we
you could
are like Siamese twins,
okay. All right.
we can use each other on this, but I don't get the smart, I won't get the smartphone.
All right. Okay, so we seem to be heading towards WhatsApp here. And Claire, do you have a preference? You'll need to unmute, Claire.
I think Claire said she has everything.
She does have them all. Okay, Olga. What is
not
your preference?
everything. Only
For me, it's
WhatsApp,
easy WhatsApp, but
Telegram.
I have everything, so for me, it's okay. I am following for the group.
Okay, thank you. Nydia, do you have a preference? WhatsApp, Telegram, or Signal?
Well, my grandson put WhatsApp on my
Oh dear,
phone,
it's up everywhere. It's the worst.
but I'm basically a Luddite. More is less from my perspective. But I
Well,
did
less
find
is more.
something this morning,
Okay,
perhaps yesterday. Signal is not, at least in the United States, is not proofed from the FBI or CIA, because Signal is only as good as the basic group that have it. And if anybody from the outside, if they share it at any mean, it's not that safe. But I don't know if your considerations are financial, because WhatsApp is free. I don't know, but whatever you decide will be fine. I'll find a way of joining.
thank you, Nydia. Well, they're all free. So anyway, Diane, how about you? Do you have a preference?
Well, I just look at my emails and I guess I'm on WhatsApp with several organizations, but I don't know that I look at that stuff. It's like texting. Some people are on their phone all the time getting their texts, but I look every week or two. So I'm just not a very good person to ask. I do look at my emails every day. That's the best form of communication with me. So
Okay, all right. This is in case the email fails for whatever reason, okay? Because our list is hosted by Rise Up, and Rise Up are not totally perfect. They're pretty good. It's just a backup so that we can send you a link or say, meeting tonight, here's the link, very, very simple things. So it's like, what's up, Curry? I see you've joined us. Hi, how are you?
Good. Sorry, I keep going in and out, but I was eating belatedly, so I didn't want you to see me chewing. But
That's all right. We all have to do it some time of day.
I happen to have very strong opinions about this just because I worked in IT for more than 30 years, and I know about the thing about surveillance capitalism. And even though you might want to be very sanguine about that and say, oh, we're surveilled anyway, so why sweat it? But it's really not like WhatsApp. Really, I feel very uncomfortable about it. I use WhatsApp because a lot of the groups that I'm in use WhatsApp. But Signal is much more secure. You're not going to be open to government spying. I mean, this is why Edward Snowden went to Russia, right? Because he found out the government was spying on all of their citizens and he was part of it. And he could look into anyone's computer and see their face and see somebody sitting with their child on their lap and hear what they were saying. It's very invasive.
Yeah.
And that hasn't changed. That was many years ago, and it's just gotten worse. So you can be sure that anything that you say in a Gmail, it's an open book. Anything you say that isn't using encrypted mail is an open book, and it's being shared on. You're being monetized all over the place, and your data and your words and even your behaviors are being monetized and shared and used, and you're not getting anything for it. In fact, like there's a new law now in Quebec just recently whereby or no, I think it's in Canada. It's a bill whereby if somebody is, if anything, a police judges that somebody has a symbol that is relating to a terrorist list, they can be arrested on the spot at the police's discretion. We were talking about that yesterday in a webinar. So, if you want to just take your chances and live like wildly, you can continue using WhatsApp, but I'd really prefer Signal. At least it's secure. That I know, and that's what most people will go to is something like Signal, which is, I think it's owned by an Iranian, something like that, but at least it's secure. And frankly, I'd rather put my faith in Iranians than Americans. So that's my opinion. And I know most people don't think about it, but most people don't work in the industry and haven't had the experience. I was a tech writer. I mean, I wasn't actually coding or anything, but I knew a thing or two about security, and I'll tell you, anybody that works in that industry is extremely cautious because they know how easy, how open it is and how people can use your data. And anyway, on and on. This is a this is
Okay, all right. We
but I would
know
really
that
prefer Signal.
whatever we do, there's always a risk. And I agree with you. Signal is the most secure. But I really never don't know whether we've got Greg McGregor Eddie there. I don't know what to call you either. So whilst we're waiting, Ulla, you just put your hand up.
Yeah, I just wanted to stress what Pippa said, that this is just an emergency. So I think we shall continue like before. Most of us feel comfortable by getting the emails, even if we know that they are surveyed too. So whatever we do, we put our face in the shit, so to say. But I think we should continue communicating mainly on emails. But of course, as Pippa said, if it breaks down, it's good to have a security. And that is then for you to decide if it's WhatsApp or Signal.
Okay, well,
because I'm not in them.
Mark Zuckerberg is a billionaire, and they're the people that are right now trying to take over society. It's not about countries. It's really about the billionaire class and the rest of us. But if you want to go along and give him your stuff just because it's nice to be in the same, I don't know. If you like Mark Zuckerberg, then you can continue with that. Okay.
The reason I brought this to the meeting is because I need telephone numbers. These are not email-based systems, they're telephone number-based systems. So I feel we should have something. Signal, you just download it from the Play Store. It's not a thing. I mean, you know, it just appears and then you just shove your name in and you don't have to put a photograph in. I don't even know if Signal asks for a date of birth. I know a lot of them do, but I can't remember. I've had Signal for ages and ages. So yeah. So what I'll do then is I'll put it in an email and perhaps it will go in the minutes as well to say we need to have a backup. And if you want to stay in touch in case of a loss of email, please can we have your telephone number? And then it's up to people to offer their telephone number or not, as the case may be.
Should it be put into the minutes that it's then Signal that is going to work, or?
Yeah, I think it is the most secure. So I'm just reading through the oh gosh, Olga. Right. Here we go. Thanks, Olga, for your telephone number. So let's move on to the next one, which is Agneta, who doesn't seem to be here right now, and the space militarization webinar, which is coming up on the 6th of December. There's nothing much to say. It's all arranged. We have Bruce Gagnon and Tamara Lorenz, as well as Agneta, speaking on that webinar. So after this meeting, I'll send out the email. Please invite whoever you can so that, you know, the more the merrier. I think, as Agneta very passionately put to us in the last meeting, if people don't realize that space is now being invaded in terms of military, and we need awareness of that. So we've got some really good speakers lined up for that. So we can then move over to the Stop Nuclear Arms Race webinar, which Ulla's been working really hard on. So as your hands up anyway, I'll let you go for it.
Oh yeah, I take down my hand. Yeah, and I would like to say that we have to thank Agneta. She has been working really hard on S-Range, which is this space station in Sweden, which is a terrible institution and one of the largest ones in the world. And Agneta is very passionate, and she is already far over 80 and very engaged in it. So we just have to applaud that she took it up, because we tend to forget the militarization going on above our heads. So it's really important. And I would also like to say that now when it's more and more obvious that young men realize what is going on in the world and what is going on now in Germany, which I follow very close because I'm married to a German, when they want to have the how do you call it, the that you have to go to the army, the subscription or prescription, what is it called?
Conscription.
Yeah. And now there is a movement starting. They are protesting. They don't want to have it. So I'm happy for that. But this might mean that we even more turn to the weapons from space, because then they can sit in front of the computer and kill people. They don't have to stand on the front line. So this makes it even more important. But to the stop nuclear arms race, the idea was born when Trump came out with this idea about nuclear testing again. And I thought that we should do something because the nuclear cycle was supposed to be in spring. So I hoped for, and I still hope for, a speaker on every nuclear weapon states. That means 9 speakers. And I have come now to quite many. We have Helen Jacquard from US, and she has also said that she can comment on Israel. And she is a champion, Veterans for Peace. She has been in the Golden Rule anti-nuclear sailboat for 10 years. And she is a very good speaker. And she covers then US and touches the issue of Israel. We won't get any speaker from Israel. That's for sure, even if we have tried. Then we have 2 women from Russia, Olga Mandryka and Elena Chanova. They are both from St. Petersburg, and they share the 15 minutes, 7 and 7. I don't know how much they really, so to say, dare to speak out, because it's not easy. It's really not easy to talk about this as being a Russian. So they might take it more from an ecological point of view, but we shouldn't expect any hard criticism. That's for sure. But already giving them a space, I think, would be great. China is open, of course. It's hard. But we are pushing for Sean Connor from IPB, International Peace Bureau, if he could maybe cover China and Pakistan. But let's see, I will be back in some days with this. France is also open because I stupidly started by asking for a woman speaker, which I couldn't get. And then I had to back down and say that, okay, a man would be okay. So we might get somebody from the male perspective. It's funny still that the language is a problem. I had 3 speakers that said that, okay, I would come, but I don't speak English. And I couldn't offer a translation at this moment, but we have to consider it for the next meetings, that we should try to get translators. UK is covered by Sophie Bolt. She is the General Secretary of CND. She is a very tough speaker. From India, we have the wonderful Anuradha Chenoy, Anu, who is a professor at the Jindal School of International Affairs. She is a very good speaker. Pakistan is open. North Korea, I had also to subject to the female male perspective, and I couldn't get anybody from North Korea, but I got Krista Lundgren from Sweden, who is a journalist and who is also the chairperson of the Swedish Korean Association, and she has been in Korea lots of times. She was also a speaker in the St. Petersburg conference last September. So I think we have to do with that. And if I have calculated the times right, it will be 10 to 15 minutes per speaker, except for Helen Jacquard, who gets 20 minutes because she covers also Israel. And then there will be half an hour time for discussion. And if we get a really lively discussion, maybe Pippa can extend it a little bit if ideas are coming up. Because I think it would be really important to also find some kind of common ground for what we do now. Shall we start something on this, some declaration, or because we can attack NATO on the nuclear issue.
Absolutely.
So we should get there something, a result from this webinar. And I would want to just very shortly say that there were many who thought in a Zoom where we were many more women that the nuclear cycle should also be sometimes talked about, because then we get down to uranium mining and the waste, of course. And I will be working on that. I will come up with a draft or a suggestion when this is over. And there we can find really good speakers from all around. Anne Wright already said she can get somebody from the French nuclear testing areas in Mururoa and so on. So that will be then for the spring.
Great, absolutely great.
Yeah, and the draft program will be sent out. I wait still for France and for Sean Connor if he could cover China. So let's see.
I was just wondering if we, in terms of the translation, if any of our Canadian comrades could, who are bilingual, could do translation. It's just a thought. And Cymru's got a finger up when she finished her mouthful.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that I don't like to do, I'm not good enough to do with like interpretation, ongoing translation. However, with World Beyond War, we have a lot of French-speaking chapters now because we have Africa. And it is possible to have simultaneous translation with captions. You know, if you have the Zoom package with captions and you go show captions and you can choose your language, because this, I know how to use it. I don't know how to set it up, but I guess it can't be that hard. But you choose your language as a participant, as a viewer. And supposing someone's speaking English and I've chosen French as my language, I will see an ongoing translation in the subtitles.
You have to set it up, and I must look at that to see how we can do it, because you know, French, Spanish, there are many ways that we could embrace more voices by having this translation option. So
Yeah,
I'm going to make
a
a
matter of
note.
configuring it in the application in the Zoom.
Yeah.
But maybe you have to pay more for that particular option. I know that
maybe you have to pay more. Maybe you have to pay more for it.
If you like, I can ask Greta, but maybe you can find out. Yeah,
we could ask Greta. I think she's very good on that. And it's not only French. It's we have the same problem with Spanish and Italian.
Yeah, and each viewer watches in their own language and they see the translation.
Yes, because when I translate on this bloody Google Translate messages for Spain, for instance, they answer. But if they get it in English, they don't answer. And I would just like to add still on the nuclear, Stop Nuclear Arms Race, that we have already as supporters for this webinar. We have IPB, the International Peace Bureau. We have World Beyond War. We have Women in Black from Spain. We have, oh God, we had Code Pink. Who else do we have? So we have a broad backup, so to say. And EVA, the International Women's Alliance, will be back on this in some days. They have to take a decision on the board or whatever. But we have really good supporters for this.
Yeah, that's right. But I've got to learn how to do it myself, and I will press on with that. Now, just coming back, I made some notes as you were speaking. You said we probably couldn't get anybody from Israel, but have we tried people like Miko Peled, um, who is a general's son, who is very outspoken? He spoke once. I wasn't there, in a local peace group in America, the Bethlehem Neighbors for Peace, which I belong to when I'm there. Um, he might be worth getting hold of if you think it's worth.
Could you try,
I
Pippa?
could
Because
try.
then I can cut down on Helen a bit, and he can get 10 minutes.
Yeah, okay.
Please do.
Also,
Please
um,
do.
I'm just wondering who we've got in China, because I have a contact, Li Suhin in Shanghai, who is part of a peace group in China. Now, it may not be possible. I don't hold any hope at all, but I could try.
Try. I have tried with, now I don't remember the group, Peace Mom something, but they don't answer.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
I do know Li Suhin personally, so I can at least ask him.
try.
Um, and just one last thing on North Korea. There is a
No,
group.
North Korea, I think that Krista can cover it because he has been there so many times.
Okay,
But
because
Pakistan we don't have.
oh, it's Pakistan. Okay. Um.
And I have got names from
Yeah.
Pakistan and I have written them. One said that he doesn't speak enough English, and one or two haven't answered. There was a young girl whose name I got from Anuradha Chenoy, and she
Uh-huh.
said she's a good speaker, but she doesn't answer. I have sent her like 5 mails.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then we must. I'll try. Joe has been to Pakistan a couple of times, and he may have some contacts which are useful. So I'll ask him. And
Great.
that way we'll try to cover the ground between us
Yes,
somehow. Ulla, if you have an introductory letter or an invitation letter, that email that you're sending to these people, if you could let
I
me
will
have it.
send it to you.
Thank you.
I
That's
send
great.
it to you.
Great. And just for future reference, as far as Korea is concerned, there is a group, a women's group called, I think it's called Cross the Line or something like that, who are very good. So for future reference, they do email me periodically, so I can get in touch with them directly.
Sorry to interrupt, but I also have proposal to think about Israeli and conscientious objectors, because we are in the coalition of the, how do you say, not only conscientious objectors for Russia, Ukraine, and Belarus, but also Israeli, Turkish, etc. I can't promise, but I can ask several Israeli conscientious objectors. Maybe they can have the speech. I think that it's a very serious problem in Israel to be in conscientious objector for men and women.
Yes.
And so maybe it should be nice also to involve them and to reconnect, how do you say, different networks.
Yes, that would be fine. I think
I will
that
ask.
would be
I promise
useful.
to ask
Yeah.
because I know
So
2 girls, very active, conscientious objectors, and even one was imprisoned.
And
So I can send to Pippa and Olga a kind of thing which you can send them. Where is the draft
Super.
now? How it and how much time they have for their speech, and then you have free hands, of course.
yeah, that's great. Yeah, and Mordecai Vanunu, who, well, I know he's on Facebook. Poor man. I don't know if he's probably not allowed to speak. To be perfectly honest, he's not allowed to travel, so he's probably not allowed to speak either. Okay, all right. Olga, if you, not Olga, Ola, have you got your hand up, or is that from before?
No. Is
No,
it still there?
I have my hand up and I have a question. I came a little bit late. are we discussing about a conference nuclear testing or about nuclear weapons? I was too late to understand that.
We are discussing a stop nuclear arms race.
Okay.
Stop nuclear arms race. And it's almost ready, the program. We have China, Pakistan, and what was it? Israel.
Do you remember? Sorry,
Yeah.
because he has to leave now. I want to introduce Gleb. This is Belarusian conscientious objector who is under the risk of deportation, and he is threat of national security of Lithuania, and he is fighting against militarization, and he is peace activist. So Gleb, tell.
Great.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Stay
Wonderful
strong,
to see you.
stay strong, stay strong.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Thank you. I'm so pleased to see you and to meet you. Oh, how wonderful. Okay.
Sorry.
Tamri has her hand up now.
Well, I just wanted to say out loud what I put in the chat, which is, what about ICANN? Is ICANN going to be speaking? Somebody from ICANN, the International Coalition to Abolish Nuclear Weapons campaign?
No, because when I started this, I just thought that we should have one speaker from each nuclear weapons country, and then we should see what we can do.
That's a cool idea.
And the problem is that, you know, when you try to get nine speakers into 2.5 hours, it gets very minimized.
Okay.
So it would be good to have ICANN, but maybe we could, if we make some kind of declaration afterwards and we turn it against NATO, we could maybe have a new thing where we can involve those who are already involved in stopping nuclear arms.
I think it's amazing that you're organizing this, Ola. I think this will be
fantastic.
fantastic.
The time was so short because I thought it should be before Christmas because of this crazy Trump, but there could be a continuation then.
Well, I think I think
hello?
we should have. Just hang on a second, Agneta. Agneta, would you mind waiting a moment? There are two people with their hands up before you.
But you are discussing things I've been involved in so many years.
Yes, okay. Well, we will get there. I can totally lost my thread then. All right, I'll miss that. But Liz, you have your hand up next.
Well, thank you.
No.
Ola, you mentioned that this webinar is 2.5 hours. Is that right?
Yes.
If I may just comment, that's a very long time to be on a webinar. We often find with ours that an hour and a half is quite a long time. I just wonder if you'd thought of shortening it a little bit.
Yeah, I thought about it, but if we want to have every nuclear weapons country involved, we can't give them only 3 or 4 minutes. I think 10 minutes is already, if you want to touch the subject, I could try to cut it down to 5 minutes, but being a speaker for 5 minutes, it's very little.
Yeah, it's also a challenge to be that concise. But if you want to have a good, listenership, you know. But I sympathize with your problem, but you're getting a whole, like, to get 9 nations to talk about it is incredible, and it's so worthwhile, and to make it have the best coverage possible.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, what I was just thinking, sorry to butt in here, but we could take pieces out of the recording and put out a shorter version as well.
Yeah, that's a very good idea, Pippa.
Okay.
There's also a couple of suggestions in the chat to make it a 2-part.
Yeah. I think that's up to Olga, how she wants to do it.
More work, of course.
Well, I think she's a long way down the line with this. It may be too difficult.
I think at this moment, yeah, we could then, of course, cut the ones we have no sure speakers out and have them later. But yeah, I don't know. In a way, I think it's the overview of the whole spectra is also very important, and also that
Yeah,
these
yes,
the
that's what I
people,
mean.
yeah,
You don't
and
have
that
the
the
whole spectra.
yeah,
You don't
and
have the whole spectra.
we are trying to, but
No,
then
but
we will.
I want to come in here. I want to come in badly, if it's
Okay,
possible.
Agneta, we've just got one person before you, and then it'll be your turn. Olga.
I've been sitting here for a long time and had my hands raised up. I think I'm the only one who have been arrested at Nevada test site many times because they didn't they made so a certain kind of tests that I think nobody's talking about. The so-called critical nuclear tests that avoid to go into, and all the kind of test ban they have been violating. That's where I am in my understanding of their tests at Nevada, where we were arrested a lot of times because we protested against the subcritical nuclear tests violating the former test ban treaty. That's what I wanted to say. And I want to know who will be talking about the violation.
Okay, thank you, Agneta. Olga?
Actually, I want to share other wonderful news about nuclear disarmament. I forgot about it. And maybe I already spoke a little bit, but at the beginning of the year, my organization, we submitted the UPR report against nuclear weapons in Belarus. And it's really interesting that Austria supported the UPR report and even made the recommendation to the Belarusian authorities to remove the nuclear weapons and to write the treaty as soon as possible, or to re-sign, because we did it before but after cancelled. So this is very important, and I want to return to the beautiful letter from Ula. And I really support the idea of 2 parts of webinar, because together with International Peace Bureau, we try to prepare some draft of declaration about Europe nuclear disarmament in wider sense. And it's really nice to see how to put these very important speakers in this part, and second part like ICANN, maybe some people after OSCE summit in Vienna in December, maybe us, maybe somebody else, and it should be really, really important, because I remember that some people in our network reacted, and it was very interesting to have such kind of discussion. It's extremely important now, and we can mobilize a lot of youth in such kind of struggle, in my opinion, and we are very, very logistically and politically, how do you say, in right side. Thank you,
Thank
Ula,
you.
for your wonderful work. I admire you a lot of, so to see, the wider context and picture and do everything. It's unbelievable.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you so much. Okay.
If I could comment on that, because this with stop the nuclear arms race, that came on top of what we are planning for the spring, because I thought it would be good to bring all the nuclear arms countries together. And then we go into the nuclear cycle, and what shall we do? And ICANN, and see that what is the next step. And then I, of course, would like to have you all very much involved, and just take this as a start.
Perfect. I think we should have a statement, which we can probably put together over the Christmas period after the webinar. The webinar will be on the 13th of December, by the way. So I think it will be quite important for us to have something on our website and a statement that we can send out to NATO itself or various other organizations, and also perhaps have it supported by the organizations we are in collaboration with, like the International Women's Alliance and World War and IPV. So I think we could spearhead, to use a word I don't like to use, the formation of this statement, and hope we have plenty of people signing it. All right. Ulla, do you have anything more to say on this
No, I just will
webinar?
send the invitation for Pippa and Olga, and let's see. And I really apologize for it being long, but it's very hard to invite speakers and say that you have 4 minutes. It's
Yeah.
Ulla, I just want to say we just did a webinar a couple of weeks ago on Pacific Peace Network and World Beyond War about stopping militarism in the Pacific. We had 9 speakers from 9 countries. We gave them 5 minutes each, and we allowed time for questions. And I can send you a link, but I think it went pretty well. It was tight, but you can actually cover a lot in 5 minutes, and it makes it it probably makes it a lot more. Yeah, I'll send you a link if you're interested. Thank you.
Yeah, that's good. Right.
Okay, that's brilliant. Yes, I think we have lost Agnes, as she does get a little bit she overreacts sometimes. But she is planning this webinar on the 6th of December. She's put a lot of work into it, and I hope she realizes how much we appreciate that. Okay. Right. So this brings us to next year, which will be the collaboration between us and the International Women's Alliance on the entitled, wait for it, Women Peace Builders, a dialogue with parliamentarians and other stakeholders to build a world of peace and justice. So I think we could perhaps make the title a bit shorter, but the plan remains as it always was, and that is to find parliamentarians and important stakeholders to speak to speak up against what is happening in the general war climate. And especially, I think it would be important to have somebody from Germany, as the German manufacturing now is being moved away from cars and into weapons manufacture. I think if we can find somebody from Germany for that, it would be important. We really need all help from all of you to reach out to any parliamentarians or significant stakeholders in the NATO sphere, or countries involved with NATO or countries who don't want to be involved with NATO. Really important to find who we can from across the world. It would be nice to find someone from Colombia as well, actually, because of course they've just pulled out of being a friend of NATO. So we might find these people. This is an important part of our work, is to dig around and find those who are prepared to speak out even a small amount. Diane, you have your hand up. Oh, and a pussycat.
Yes, this is Kat. So you said that Germany is converting from cars to armaments. Is that because of the tariffs, do you feel, or is it I'm sure it's probably multi reasons for it, but
well, there are, but they've lost their cheap Russian gas, so the manufacturing output is way more expensive. But now let's just think, what can you get any money you like for? Weapons. They're expensive things to produce. So this is Chancellor Merz's idea to shift across German manufacturing base, which is just horrifying. But
It is.
it has.
It is. But I thought maybe the U.S. tariffs had something to do with it too.
It probably helped. Probably helped
Probably helps,
sway.
yeah.
I mean, Germany is not the Germany it was a couple of years ago. I mean, it's lost almost everything in its obedience to Trump. So I feel that, well, not just Trump. I mean, also, you know, America, US. Think of the Nord Stream explosion, the biggest environmental disaster we've probably had, biggest single environmental disaster, which hardly anybody talks about.
Right.
So you think of, I mean, the German economy is going down the pan, and this is the way apparently they're going to pull themselves out of it.
Okay.
Comrie, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment. Probably a lot of you saw that there are representatives of multiple countries, the Western countries right now in Israel, taking lessons on how to do genocide. I think that we have to take that very, very seriously. I do. I don't think it's really it's not, I'm not being facetious. I think that I've always thought that this is happening, somebody's going to be next. It's not just going to end here. It's the ultimate expression of colonialism and imperialism. It's like the penultimate success of the imperialist dream is to totally destroy a people and take over their land completely. Not like Canada has done. Canada still has some people left around alive, right? But the way that they're doing in the genocide in Palestine is they've pretty much eradicated and co-opted everything. And right now, Quebec is we had Swedish representatives, royalty visiting us here in Quebec because they want to buy, they're thinking of buying fighter jets from Sweden. So why would Quebec need fighter jets? I mean, what is going on? I think we're not very far from nuclear war, and I think that we're being just led like sheep to slaughter. Anyway, you might think that seems very, very dark view, but that's how I feel because I look at this every day, as do many of you probably, and it doesn't look good. And I don't think it's country against country anymore. I think it's the 1% who are just going to go down laughing and maybe send us off into space colonies to live or something like that if we survive.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We live in very dark times. And you know, there is not a day go by when something else crops up and you think, oh my goodness, I see the plan. So yeah, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but you know, it seems very clear to me the way things are going. And of course, you're right. I mean, the 1% are, you know, they've got their private armies, they've got their bunkers, they've got their islands, they've got whatever they want. And they're just going to squeeze as much money out of us as they can in the time that is allocated. I mean, it's a race.
Canadian
It's a race.
military spending is projected to 50 billion from 21 billion a few years ago. That's a big jump. We have a housing crisis, all kinds of crises, and the cost of living is very high, but they've got tons and tons of money for militarism. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I want to stress that the militarization in Germany is specifically dangerous because it's the economical motor in Europe. It's the strongest state in the European Union, and there was a military exhibition or big happening in Germany last week, and all the big leaders were there, and they show all the new weapons and for instance the bus industry is changing from making buses to tanks. And there are so many projects going on in Germany. You can't open the newspapers and you get filled with their projects. So it's really a tough militarization that is going on, and dark times. But I want to jump back to the parliamentarian webinar, and we were talking about this with Donna Denina from EVA, because they are actually the main organizer, because they came up with the idea. And GWUAN would then be like supporter and helper and everything. But the idea was that we would have two webinars, one on Europe, Asia Pacific, and Africa, which are the same time zone, and one on the US and Latin America and Canada. I still, because we all agree that 2.5 hours is very much, but if we want to reach out to a parliamentarian, we don't get anybody if we say that you have 3 to 5 minutes. That's for sure. So we would have to give them a little bit more. And that, then we come to the question that would it maybe be good to share Europe and Africa and then Asia Pacific and Middle East or what, but we have to come back to that. But the idea is that there would be a keynote speaker, which means that there is an opening to the debate with the parliamentarians. And if we then would think that we would have one parliamentarian from Europe and one from Africa and one from Asia Pacific, it's of course a little bit narrow, because that means that we would have obviously only one party from Europe represented and one party, I mean political party, because they are members of parliament. So we would have to consider that very carefully. But for the keynote speaker, I would suggest, and I will suggest also to Eva, and I have already done it, Sevim Dagdelen, who was for many years in the German parliament, and I would recommend her as a keynote speaker, because she has written a wonderful book against NATO. Really great book. And she was not elected last spring again to the German parliament, because she switched also from the Linke, the left, to Sarah Wagenknecht, who is a new formed party, and that took her out, I think. But she would be a good speaker for Europe. But we would desperately need keynote speakers also from Africa and the Asia Pacific. So there we need, Liz, your help for Asia Pacific, and also with the so-called parliamentarian, because a keynote speaker would be the how should I say, the fire giver, and then the parliamentarian would have to react on that. And I also have a suggestion for maybe for Europe, for parliamentarian, because there is a member of the European Parliament from Italy, from Italy's Green Party, Cristina Guarda. And I don't know if she's outspokenly against NATO, but she is very anti-militaristic. So that might be, and then we would get out of the problem of which country we have to choose. Should it be a parliamentarian from Italy, or from, if it's a member of the European Parliament, it covers a bit more, even if I don't like the European Parliament and EU as a whole. But since we have to squeeze down on how many people we involved, but every suggestion is very welcome. And Simri, when you are here now, the problem of US, Canada, and Latin America falls on you and Pippa and Nidia and Terry and whoever is here from that big continent or those continents.
Absolutely. I think that Liz has her hand up.
Yeah, I just had a suggestion as a speaker. Helen Clark, who's a former Prime Minister of New Zealand, and she was also in charge of the United Nations Development Programme. She can be quite hard to get, but we're talking about April and May next year, aren't we? So there's a bit of time. What do you think of that idea?
That sounds great. For Asia Pacific, yes.
Great stuff. Now, I'm conscious that one or two people haven't said too much just yet, so I'm going to call on Terry if there's something you would like to add. I know there are always quiet people in a meeting.
Thank you, Peppa. There's a fellow by the name of Gordon Edwards. Simmery, are you familiar with him? He would be a good speaker, but I don't know if he would be willing to do a very short speech. I could check with him, though. Go ahead, Simmery.
Yeah, I follow Gordon Edwards too, and I've invited him to webinars and things like that, and I get his regular emails. But Gordon is kind of a self-styled and very competent. He's a scientist who's made it his. He's an activist, and he's very involved in like why nuclear dumps should not exist, or why this or that project should not go forward. And he's often called to speak from a scientific point of view about the dangers of radiation and stuff like that. But in terms of like the big picture of nuclear, he's very much about like, you know, if it's got 224 parts of tritinium versus 365 whatever things, and then he can give all this very scientific, very precise analysis. But for the average person, that's not gonna, like, I would recommend more like somebody like MV Ramanda, who wrote Nuclear is Not the Solution, and he talks about the entire nuclear cycle and why these various ideas for nuclear reactors are not viable or not feasible, and it's just the industry, you know, trying to put one over on us and stuff like that. He's much more big picture. I read his book, Nuclear is Not the Solution. But I love Gordon Edwards. I mean, if you want to have him speak about very precise, like measurements and things like that, then he would be your man. Yeah.
I wonder if he might be good when we do the nuclear life cycle, because actually there is some technical stuff in the waste that people are just simply not aware of. As long as he wasn't all technical, it might be a thing. Now, Terry, do you have his contact details?
I have his contact details. I have
Oh, you
been
do?
working with him for 40 years. He has been in Finland also. But he is not, we couldn't have him for this parliamentarian thing
No,
because
no, no. No, I was thinking
that's outspokenly NATO.
yeah, totally.
And
No,
yeah,
I was thinking for the nuclear life cycle one that we haven't
yes,
really tabulated yet, but will happen
no.
sometime early in the new year.
But I will keep him in mind for the nuclear thing. But I
Yeah,
think that for the parliamentarians and NATO, it should not be specifically nuclear. It should be NATO as a a war machinery
yes,
as a
yes,
whole.
yes.
The whole thing of NATO going global and NATO, the whole
Yes,
thing with NATO.
I think our minds were thinking about the Stop Nuclear Arms race and
Yeah,
having
yeah,
like
yeah.
disengaged from
Right.
that into the
Yes.
women peace builders. Okay, all right. Well, that's all interesting. Liz, you have your hand up and we've lost your picture, but never mind. Oh, are you there?
Yes, sorry, I forgot to take it down before. Sorry.
Okay, all right. Right. McGregor, oh, she's gone. Nydia. Oh, she's back. Sorry. Have you got, is there anything you'd like to add? I'm conscious that you haven't spoken much.
Well, I feel that I come from a country that has set in motion so many horrific things. I listen to you all and I feel guilty because for some reason we're the youngest country in in respect to all the others that are here. And yet we're at a terrible twos stage. I'm ashamed of my country. And I am compelled to keep working because, like all of you, we are women who may be mothers, grandmothers, great-grandmothers, and we have a different ethos somehow instilled in us from the time we're born. So I listen to you all with great respect, and I will do what I can. I know Anne Wright very well. She's a remarkable woman, and there are many remarkable people in the United States working to try to help. But NATO seems so far out of our ken for the most part. We're bogged down in the petty politics, but I'll do what I can to support you. Yeah.
Thank you, Lydia. McGregor?
Yes, I work on many of the issues you do work on. And right now, as you can see from the sign behind me, I am concerned from the lack of that I'm concerned when Iran is not on the agenda, even in things like the Middle East Committee of the Women's International League for Peace and Freedom. All these North Africans, Southwest Asia were listed. Iran was attacked by two nuclear armed states a couple months ago. I'm sorry, but it distresses me that it isn't even mentioned in a group of people as wonderful as you are. I just want to weep because if Iran is next. I mean, if I'm going by Netanyahu's list, this is not my opinion. This is next.
Iran or China, those are the ones that come up.
Yes, well, Venezuela, there's a lot of threats, but of all those threats, the ones that have the least friends speaking up for them, even in the nuclear, that book that everyone wrote by she listed Iran as a nuclear risk and not Israel. It was that one, everybody was reading it, what it would be really like. But that phrase revealed the prejudice.
That was the nuclear scenario book I just read.
That one. When I brought it up to people, they said I was being petty. I do not think it is petty when a very popular book promoted by peace organizations, and she lists the nuclear weapons risks, and she includes Iran and not Israel. And I said, oh, you're too petty. I thought this might be a group that would think it was not petty. We must speak up for Iran. Sorry, I'll be quiet.
Of course, Iran is very important to China as well. So they do have some form of not exactly protection, but some political hegemony because of that. It's awful. It's absolutely awful. Okay, now Terry has her hand up.
Thanks. Yeah, there's a fellow running for the NDP by the name of Eve Engler. Eve Engler is anti-war. I don't know if he's actually been accepted into the NDP. Regardless, he's a good guy. Anyway, is that a thought?
What was his name again, Terry?
YVES Engler. ENGLER.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you. We'll have a look at that. Thank you, Terry. Now who else have we got? Claire hasn't said a great deal today. Do you have something to add?
Ruth?
No, I have only new information in Belgium about schools because the militarization was not so terrible in the schools. But now, since some months, we have a new government, a very bad one, and a new minister uh, of war, defense, and like Trump says, war. And he's a very far right winger. He likes to play little soldier. It's ridiculous, but he's so happy now because last week or 2 weeks ago, he put his photo in the newspaper. I'm spending the money in the USA to buy weapons. And now he sent a letter to all boys of 17 to ask them to be volunteers because we have no, it's not, we yes, we had no more military service since years and years. And now they want to have volunteers, and they sent a letter to every boy of 17. And sometimes the parent answered. Yesterday there was a letter in the newspaper. The daddy answered, not very kindly to the minister. So we are working in Belgium. We have a movement. It's not a movement, it's a platform. All pacifist movements with the unions, some journalists, and so on. We did since some months anti-militarization platform, and we had um, a meeting last week to decide maybe to organize a bigger demonstration at the European level in Brussels. So that's the news.
Thank you, Claire. Right, we'll hear one last thing from Liz, then I think we'll look for a date for our next meeting. So, well, and from Ulla we will hear. Liz, yes, you first.
Oh, I just wondered if, for those who haven't met me before, if you'd like me to introduce myself.
Please
You've
do.
got a, yeah, carry on.
Hi, everybody. I know I've already said some things, but and it's great to see Kim here. I'm Liz Lem as well, and I live in New Zealand called Aotearoa. And I've just been starting to work with the Global Women United Against NATO recently. And I'm Vice President of World Beyond War, which many of you will know about. I've been involved with World Beyond War for about 8 years. And before that, I was quite involved with WILF. We've been also setting up in this area, Asia Pacifica, a Pacific Peace Network. We've been going for about 6 years. And the idea is to develop campaigns against militarism in the Pacifica area. Pacific Ocean is large and is full of all sorts of military bases, mostly from the United States, and a fear, of course, against perhaps a coming war with China. Anyway, just a couple of weeks ago, I did go to the International Peace Researchers Association conference, which was in this country, which was a tremendous gathering of peace people from all over the globe. It was wonderful. I'm also locally working with here in New Zealand a national campaign to reduce military spending, because unfortunately our terrible right-wing government is pushing up our military spending. And, you know, while we were a very proud advocate in a nuclear-free country, we are heading in the wrong direction currently. So that's just a little bit about me, and it's lovely to be here with you all. And thank you so much for all the work that everybody does.
Thank you, Liz. Thank you so much. Well,
Yeah, I just wanted to remind you that Global Women for Peace were formed in a big rush, spring 2023, in order to have a counter summit against NATO in, we thought, in Vilnius, but of course there were nobody to help us. We have no money, we have no stuff. Everything we do ourselves with our hearts. And the thing is that we have the declaration, and the declaration is our basis. That is the declaration for peace against NATO. So when we arrange things, we should always try to stick to the NATO perspective, because that is why we are here. And
yes.
and then I would like to say that anybody with a good idea, because we are free women. If Greg wants to talk about Iran, do a webinar. Take the initiative and you start doing it, and you do it 1 hour or 1.5 or 5 hours if you wish, and integrate the people you know that know about this item, and try to get a NATO perspective into it somehow. That since NATO is the strongest nuclear weapons alliance in the world, others think that they have to weaponize themselves with nuclear arms because they are threatened by these NATO weapons. So the angle, if it's there, we would love to have webinars every
Thank you.
second week.
Thank you. I'm working on it. Thank you.
Yeah, we need doers. We need doers. And
Wonderful.
even if the doing is going a bit wrong, and if it's a bit too short or too big or too whatever, the main thing is that we are there and we can be seen, and we push things.
Well,
And if you look at, if you put in Global Women for Peace United Against NATO in Google, you can find quite many things there.
absolutely. And I think really just to say that we're just an amazing selection of women, but it is down to us to lead. You know, obviously we all follow, but we each have the chance to do this. And when you're talking with Iran and the nuclear perspective, think about Iraq, think about NATO, and you're there. So yeah, yeah. So we look forward to hearing from you. We really, really do. Okay, date for the next meeting, which will be, I would suggest, the middle of January.
Yeah.
We could do, so if it's a Saturday again, we could do the 17th.
And then we will know a little bit more about the NATO summit in Ankara. Would it be possible to go there? Or now I have heard just a short comment on that still, Pippa.
Oh, yes.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
I heard new plans that it could also be in Brussels, because that's the headquarters of
Yes, of course.
of NATO. So, but
Sorry,
we
Ola,
will
you're
have
talking about the NATO summit or the alternative summit?
not the alternative summit, of course.
Right.
NATO will be in Ankara,
Okay.
but there could be an alternative summit in Brussels,
Mm.
or many small like webinar summits. So we
Well,
will be back on that when we talk with others who are more involved in it than we are even.
yeah, because the Resist NATO people were thinking of Cyprus because they have
Yes,
contacts there.
yes.
And we have some contacts in Turkey. Did we work anything out with them?
Yeah. The woman is now, to whom we have a contact, is now in Sweden at the moment. But when she's back, she is going again to talk with the women in Ankara. She has contacts there. So for January, we will sure know a little bit more.
Okay. I'll just try to remember to put them on the agenda for next time. Okie doke. Right. So the date for the next meeting, are we all right with the 17th of January? Already 2026? Yeah. And is this time fair enough for everybody?
Liz, above all, is it fair enough for you?
Yeah, it's perfect.
Good. Okay. So it's 7 o'clock London.
Thank you
Yay.
much. If it was a little bit later, it would be easier for Australian people to join. They're about 2 hours earlier than me. So 8 o'clock in AM in New Zealand is 6 AM in Australia, or 5 AM in Brisbane. That's just a thought anyway.
Just trying to think how that works out with everybody else, because if it was 2 hours earlier, did you say? Later.
Later.
No, yeah, 2 hours later.
Right.
It's a Saturday.
So that would be 9 o'clock London. Can we
Or
can we be sure that
No.
people from Australia would join us?
even 1 hour. I mean, because 9 o'clock is quite late for a meeting, I think. Even I've got lots like Dragana, and I've got lots of colleagues, and you know, I could really encourage them to come along. I'm
Well,
sure they will.
let's try it. Let's try it. Yes.
Yeah.
How about 1 hour? How about 1 hour the first time?
Yeah.
1 hour later than we had today. Yes.
Right.
Let's go for
Yeah.
that. Just by the way, Liz, do you know Julie Webb Pullman?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, she's working in Australia at the moment, and she'd like to join us at some point.
Oh, great. Yeah. Yeah, I've met her a couple of times over here, various things. Just one question about the 2 webinars coming up. Do you know what time they are, please?
You mean
For you, I've got the email prepared, so I can just go and look. Hang on. So come along, wake up.
for
So the space
for-
militarization will be 7 AM in New Zealand.
Oh, fabulous.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
I
And we
think
haven't,
yeah,
Ulla, I'm not
yeah.
quite sure what time you want to have
I
your
had
program.
to go according to the most problematic, which was Anu in India.
India, yeah.
So we will start at 8 o'clock in the morning, California time.
Okay.
And that will be 21:30 Delhi time for
Okay.
Anuradha.
Okay. All right. All right. Well,
That will be
we'll figure
uncomfortable
that out.
for New Zealand and Australia, I know. But
No, it's okay. You can't get everything. It's being global is quite tricky.
It's really tricky, yeah.
It's okay. Will Agneta be okay if I would have liked to hear more about her webinar, that she's doing the webinar right coming up soon.
Yeah, yeah. But it's okay. She does that sometimes. I'll write to her anyway.
She has a very explosive temperament.
We've lost
That's
her more
very
than once.
unusual for Swedes, Karin.
She's a character. But everything will work out fine. Don't worry, Liz.
And she has done so much. She has been demonstrating all around the globe. So
yeah, she was on our board for a while. It's very hard to be peaceful all the time.
the older I get, the harder it gets to be peaceful, you know. If I see our president or our prime minister in the street, I think I have to ask somebody to push me to the ground, because otherwise I do something really stupid.
Yeah, I'd also want to acknowledge Greg for your stance on Iran. That's really, really important. You're absolutely absolutely right on that. Yeah, it's very, yeah. You know,
And
I was.
before we go, could I just say hello to Kathy Carpenter, who's just popped in the chat that she is from Canada, but she doesn't have a camera or mic, and she's not on social media. But she appreciates being in this shared space with all of us. Peace to all. So that's very sweet. And I'm sorry, Kathy. I hope you can hear me say this, but I'm very glad you joined us. Okay.
Are you going to put
Done.
the information in the chat? And
we'll save the chat, yes. Hopefully. we save everything we can, and then we make it available, and then we make it private, so that it's not open to the world.
If you could send it out via the minutes, that would be appreciated. Thanks.
Will do. Okay. Okie dokie. Okay, everybody. Wonderful to see you all. Hopefully see you at the next 2 webinars before Christmas. But if we don't, have a lovely holiday. Okay. Take care.
Yes.
Stay strong.
Take care. Stay strong.
Keep the love going.
Bye.
Bye bye.